Alright, I decided to make a little video to help people, my students with when you have polynomials and you're factoring the GCF. Well, the GCF stands for the greatest common factor. So greatest, which means the highest, common, which means they have the same, and factors means that they're being multiplied. So there's a couple of strategies to do this. I kind of like listing out the factors, so I'm going to take 21. 21x, and I'm actually going to list out the factors of 21x. So it's 7 times 3 times x. And the factors of 14. Now I know it's negative 14, but the negative will stay in the middle. And we can put a negative 14 here if you want to, but we're going to say 7 times a negative 2. Notice I put the negative on the 2 and not on the 7 because I want to find out what they have in common, and they both have 7 in common. So I can say my greatest common factor is 7. And what I have left is, if I divide 7 into 21x, I'm going to get 3x left over. And then if I divide 7 into negative 14, I'm going to get negative 2 left over. So my answer is the greatest common factor. My factors are actually 7 and 3x minus 2, where my greatest common factor is 7. So let's go to another one. Now this one's a trinomial. It's a little bit more in depth. And so again, I like listing out my factors. So I'm going to take 9xy squared, and I'm going to list out the factors. So I'm going to say 3 times 3. There's only one x because the exponent's a 1. There's 2 y's because the exponent here is a 2. So we're going to put y times y. 6x squared y, I'm going to say is 3 times 2, and the x has a little square on it, so that means there's 2 of them. And the y only has to the first power, so we're going to put 1y. Then the next monomial is 3x squared y squared. So my factors are really 3 and 1. We don't normally have to put the 1, but I'm just doing it just so you can see. And then the x squared means there's 2 x's, and there are 2 y's. Now I'm going to circle what they have in common. Now, when I say common, it has to be in all 3 of them. So you see there's x's, there was 3's, and there's even some y's here. Alright, so my greatest common factor is 3xy. That means I'm going to divide out 3xy to each one of those. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, and I have 1x. I need one. I only have 1x, so that means I don't have any x's inside the parentheses. I have 2 y's, and I'm only taking 1 y out, and so that means I have 3y for the first one. And if you look up here, you can see exactly what each of these have remaining, just to kind of tell you. On my 6, if I divide 3 into 6, I get 2. And remember, I have 2 x's, I'm going to take 1 x away, that means I have 1x. I have 1 y, I take 1 y away, so I just have the 2x in that monomial. The third one, 3x squared y squared. I divide 3 into 3 and I get 1. I don't have to put a 1, and I'm not going to. Then I have 2 x's, but I need 1, so I'll take 1x left over. I have 2 y's, I'm going to take 1 y away, and that gives me the xy. And this is my answer factored out. Alright, so let's try one more. Okay, so we do the same thing, 5a squared b. And so I'm going to list those factors. 5 times 1. I have 2a's, so I'm going to put both a's. I have a b, there's my b. I have 2a squared b, so again it's 2 times 1. I have 2a's, and I have a b. On the third trinomial, I got a negative 10a squared, ab squared. So that means I have like 5 divided by 2. Alright, and that means I have 1a and I have 2 b's. Alright, I got to circle what they have in common. I only have 2 5's in 2 2's, so I don't have 1 in each of them, so I can't do it. So it looks like my number is going to be 1 because I could do 1 in all of them. This one, there's a group of a's, and it looks like there's a group of b's. So it looks like my greatest common factor is AB. So I'm going to take an AB out of each one of those. So if I take an AB out of the first one, it would be 5A. If I take a AB out of the second one, it'll be 2A. And then 2A. I just noticed I had an error, so I'm going to write the error. The error is right here. I'm supposed to have a square here. And because of that means I have two B's. And I didn't catch that till we got going through here and I saw that I had 2A and 2B. So let me erase this. So I actually had a B square on the first term and I just missed it when I was writing my notes. Alright, so I'm going to go back over it. I'm still taking AB out because I don't have enough B's to do this. So if I take it out, I got 5, and that means I have an AB left over. Alright, the next one, if I take take an AB out, that means I got 2 and A left over. And the last one, I'm going to have an AB taken out. That means I'm going to have a -10. It looks like I'm just going to have -10B. And this is our answer.